Hello YouTubers, I'm getting back to you with a part two. I wanted to show you how I made the connections to the solar panels. This is the kill switch. It looks like a fuse box, but all it is basically a dead switch. You pull out the piece in there, you turn it around, insert it back again, and that's in the off position. Then you stick it back in the other way, and those copper connections make the current pass on through. I've got that about a midway between the panels and the chuck box where I've got my batteries. Those are the wires coming out. Two of them are coming down from the roof from the solar panels, and then two going back into the chuck box. This is how I ran the wires. I just used those little clips there to group the wires to make it neat looking coming down. These are the frames that I put the solar panels on. The two extensions there are to be used as handles, and those two are footers. I use the footers when I take them off of the roof and move them into the sunlight. Those are the handles that I was talking about. That's a little device I put in there. I forget what the nut's called, but it's a threaded nut. You bolt a brace into it, and that'll help. It's just basically a leg to prop the panels up on when I want it to face a certain direction. That's the other one on the other side. And that's how I can elevate which way to face it into the sun and how much. That's just a lock and a wire cable mechanism I used for security. This is the Y connector on the other side. You've got two wires coming off each panel, so that's 4 wires coming into a Y, 2 Ys to make the 2 wires, and then this is where I break it to tie that extension cable in. I believe that's about a 30-foot extension cable. That wood brace next to it is what I use to prop it up on. And then I use the connector that's on the end of this cable, tie it into the Ys that are coming off, and then I'll chase those out to the sunlight where I need to put the panels. And then this piece here is just a stick with the nut and bolt to it, and that goes into that item right there. And I basically use it as a brace, an angular brace, to raise up the panels to the degree I need them to face the sun. This is how I chase it down, coming out of the panels themselves, coming down into that kill switch I was telling you about. I ran it down the frame that actually holds the chuck box onto the front of the trailer. You can see a little bit of it there. I'll go underneath and show you the rest. I brought it down to the middle where I have the rest of the wires coming out of the chuck box. That's what that hose is for. This is looking at it from underneath. I ran it down the frame. Basically used that vacuum tube for a bit of a harness. Saw where I needed to go in the floor, marked it on the floor, measured it. Those are the 2 wires for the controller, 2 wires for the solar panels, 2 wires for the battery. Right above me in the center, these are the control wires going into these are the electric wires going into the controller. These are coming out, and these are the battery cables going into the other panel. I'll show those to you in a little while. I just used an old hose. I think this came off a shop vac or something like that, coming out of, the sun's gonna get bad here, but coming out of my diamond plate. I've just used it as a harness basically to bring all the cables together in and out of the box. This is the AC, obviously. This is my converter. This is my controller. And then show you how I measured and marked the floor. There's going to be a couple of extra wires in this shot here. One of them is for the remote that I've got mounted over by one of the doors. That's going to be that one right there. That's for the remote. Then there are the other cables that I showed you from underneath. This controller you can tie in your PC and make some changes to the software. I hope that helps. Ask me some more questions if you need. I'll be happy to answer.